The room is silent, except for one sound, a steady, rhythmic thump, thump, thump. Under the blinding white lights of the operating room, surgeons move with calm precision. Their faces are hidden behind masks, but their eyes are locked on something extraordinary, something that doesn't seem real. On a sterile metal tray, right in front of them, lies a human heart. It's not inside a chest. It's not connected to a body. And yet, it's still beating. The moment feels unreal, almost sacred. The heart pulses with quiet determination, its crimson rhythm echoing through the room. There's no brain telling it what to do. No body keeping it alive. Still, it beats, slow, steady, alive. Imagine witnessing that. A heart, outside the human body, refusing to stop. Defying everything you thought you knew about life and death. Now imagine this, that same heart, moments later, being carried across the room and placed into another person's chest. The surgeons connect it. The blood begins to flow. And with a single jolt, thump, 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 it starts again. A new life begins, powered by the same unstoppable rhythm. But here's the question that shakes everything you think you know. How is that even possible? How can a heart keep beating with no brain, no body, no command to live? In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing truths about the human body. The incredible fact that your heart can actually beat outside your body. A story that's not just about science, but about the raw, unstoppable power of life itself. So how can your heart keep beating even when it's no longer inside your body? To understand this, we need to look at something both simple and profound, the way your heart works. Your heart isn't just a muscle. It's an electrical marvel, a tiny power plant running 24 hours a day, from the moment you're born to the moment you take your last breath. Inside it lies a small cluster of special cells, the sinoatrial node, or SAW node. This is your heart's natural pacemaker, the spark plug of your life. It sends out tiny electrical impulses, perfectly timed, that make your heart contract and pump blood through your entire body. And here's the incredible part. The SAW node doesn't need the brain to tell it what to do. It generates its own rhythm. That means even if the heart is removed from the body, as long as it's kept in the right conditions, warm, oxygenated, nourished, it can keep beating all on its own for minutes, even hours. That's because your heart is autonomous. It's wired to beat. It's programmed to live. It doesn't wait for orders, it leads the charge. Think about it. Your brain can stop sending signals, your lungs can stop breathing, but your heart will still try to go on, a stubborn drummer keeping time in the silence. That rhythm you feel in your chest every second? It's not just a response to your body, it's your body's declaration that life refuses to quit. Every thump you hear is your heart whispering, "I've got this." Scientists call this property myogenic, meaning originating in the muscle itself. It's what makes the heart one of the few organs that doesn't depend on the nervous system for its activity. So yes, when you hear stories of hearts beating outside the body, it's not a miracle. It's biology doing something that feels miraculous. A reminder that inside every one of us is a force that keeps going, even when everything else stops. And soon, you'll see how this strange and beautiful phenomenon has saved real lives, in moments that blur the line between science and something divine. In 1967, in a hospital in Cape Town, South Africa, a man's heart took its last beat, and then, a miracle happened. Dr. Christiaan Barnard stood over the operating table, his hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but from awe. Before him was a lifeless patient, and beside him, a donor heart, red and alive, pulsing faintly in a bowl of cold, oxygenated blood. Everyone in the room held their breath. It was the first time in history anyone had dared to transplant a human heart. Dr. Barnard lifted the donor heart, a heart that had been beating just moments before in another person's chest, and carefully placed it into the waiting cavity of the recipient. For a few seconds, nothing happened. The heart lay still. The room was silent. Then suddenly, thump, thump, thump. The heart began to beat again. That sound, quiet but powerful, echoed through medical history. It was the moment humanity proved that life could be given a second chance. Since that day, thousands of hearts have made that same journey, from one life to another, from stillness to rhythm. And each one tells a story. In 2015, in a Boston hospital, a young woman named Sarah received a donor heart after years of heart failure. When the surgeons opened the transport box, they saw something incredible. The heart was still beating, kept alive by a new machine that mimicked the human body. As they watched it pulse steadily outside the body, one surgeon whispered, "It's like it refuses to stop." Sarah's surgery was a success. Weeks later, when she woke up and felt her new heartbeat for the first time, she cried. "It wasn't just beating," she said. "It was reminding me that someone's love is still alive inside me." Even for doctors who've seen it hundreds of times, that sight, a beating heart outside the body, never loses its power. It's both eerie and beautiful, a scene where science meets something deeply human. You can almost feel the energy in the room, the tension, the awe, the respect. Every person there knows they're witnessing something sacred, the continuation of life. And perhaps that's what makes these moments unforgettable. Because every time a heart beats outside the body, it carries a story, of one life ending, another beginning, and of a rhythm that refuses to die. So what exactly makes the heart so unique? Why can it keep beating, even when separated from the body, when every other organ would fall silent the moment it's disconnected? The answer lies deep inside the heart's own biology, in a phenomenon that makes it one of the most extraordinary organs ever created. Inside your chest, your heart is not just a lump of muscle. It's an electrical powerhouse. Each heartbeat begins with a tiny spark, an impulse born in a special cluster of cells known as the sinoatrial node, or the SAW node. This tiny patch of tissue, no bigger than a pea, is your body's natural pacemaker. It doesn't wait for your brain to send instructions. It doesn't need permission. It simply fires, again and again, like the tick of an invisible clock, creating waves of electricity that travel through the heart muscle, making it contract, pump blood, and sustain life. These impulses are so precise that your heart can beat over 100,000 times a day, never missing a rhythm, even while you sleep. But here's where the magic truly begins. Each cell in your heart, called a cardiomyocyte, is alive with its own electrical potential. These cells are like tiny batteries, each one capable of generating its own signal. When grouped together, they synchronize, creating that perfect rhythm we know as a heartbeat. Imagine a room full of drummers. At first, each one beats out of sync, random noise, chaos. But then, slowly, they start to align. Their rhythms merge. Their timing locks in. Suddenly, the chaos becomes music, a unified pulse, steady and powerful. That's what your heart does, every second of every day. Even if you remove a small piece of heart tissue and keep it nourished, those cells will continue to contract, twitching and pulsing. For minutes, even hours. They don't need the body to tell them what to do, because the rhythm of life is built into their DNA. Scientists call this incredible property automaticity, the ability to generate spontaneous electrical activity. It's what separates the heart from almost every other muscle in your body. Your arm muscles, for instance, can't move without a signal from the brain. But your heart? It listens to no master. It is its own conductor, leading its own orchestra. And that orchestra doesn't stop, not for sleep, not for rest, not even for moments when your mind wishes it could. The nervous system can influence it, speeding it up when you're scared, slowing it down when you're calm, but it never truly controls it. The heart operates in a delicate partnership with your brain, yet remains fiercely independent. It's one of nature's most beautiful contradictions, a muscle that thinks for itself. That's why, when surgeons see a heart beating on a tray, it's not a trick. It's not a fluke. It's the heart simply being what it has always been, the relentless engine of life, designed to keep going against all odds. In that moment, it doesn't matter where it is, inside a chest, in a lab, or connected to a machine. The heart keeps doing what it was made to do: beat, survive, and remind us that life itself is electric. In the world of modern medicine, the fact that a heart can beat outside the human body is not just a fascinating phenomenon, it's a breakthrough that has transformed the way we save lives. Imagine this: a heart, still warm, still pulsing with rhythm, being kept alive not inside a chest, but inside a machine, a miracle box that mimics the human body. This is not science fiction. It's called the heart-in-a-box system. In traditional heart transplants, a donor's heart had to be placed on ice and rushed to the recipient within a narrow window, barely 4 hours before the tissue began to die. But with the heart in a box, doctors have changed that timeline. The device keeps the heart beating, breathing, and alive, circulating warm, oxygen-rich blood through it, as if it never left the human body. Surgeons can now transport hearts across countries. Patients who once had no chance suddenly get a second shot at life. In one groundbreaking case, a team in Sydney used this technology to revive a heart that had stopped beating for 20 minutes. Think about that: a heart once silent, brought back to life, beating again with its familiar rhythm. The machine didn't just preserve it, it resurrected it. Doctors call it reanimation, but for many, it feels like witnessing a small miracle. Beyond transplants, this technology has opened new paths in cardiac research. Scientists can now study how hearts respond to medications, how they recover from damage, and how to improve their endurance outside the body. What once seemed impossible, keeping an organ truly alive outside a person, is now a tool for innovation, compassion, and hope. But perhaps what's most profound isn't just the technology, it's what it represents. Every beating heart inside a box reminds us that life is fragile yet fierce. It tells us that the rhythm of existence doesn't belong to machines or laboratories, it belongs to life itself, determined to continue. Each pulse outside a body echoes a message. The will to live is stronger than anything that tries to stop it. Doctors, nurses, and patients who witness these procedures often describe it as a spiritual experience. Watching a heart beat, even disconnected from its host, is a moment that transcends science. It's pure awe. It reminds us of the thin line between death and life, and the incredible human effort that keeps us on the right side of it. And so, as science continues to evolve, the heart in a box becomes more than a machine, it becomes a symbol of resilience, a bridge between technology and humanity. Every pulse it preserves is not just a heartbeat, it's a story, a second chance, and a reminder that within every chest, and even outside of it, the rhythm of life refuses to fade. Take a moment and listen. to the quiet, steady rhythm within your chest. That's your heart. It's been beating since before you were born, long before you took your first breath. You didn't have to tell it to start. You don't have to remind it to continue. It just does. Every single second of your life, it keeps working, through your sleep, your laughter, your tears, and your silence. When you think about it, your heart is more than a muscle, it's a symbol. It's proof that life, no matter how fragile, is unstoppable. Even outside the body, it fights to keep going. That's what makes it so extraordinary, it doesn't give up easily. And neither should you. Every beat you feel is a whisper from your body saying, I'm still here. I'm still trying. It's a rhythm that connects all of us, because whether you're a doctor saving a life, a patient waiting for hope, or someone simply watching this video, that same rhythm echoes inside you. We're all bound by it. So maybe, next time you feel overwhelmed or lost, place your hand over your chest. Feel that pulse. That's your reminder that you are alive, that there's still energy flowing through you, still a fight left inside. You carry a miracle within you, one that science admires and poets write about. Gratitude begins there, with awareness. Awareness that your heart has never taken a break, not once. Awareness that you are literally alive because of its loyalty. So take care of it. Listen to it. Let it guide you, not just as an organ, but as a symbol of persistence, resilience, and life itself. Because your heart is more than what keeps you alive, it's what keeps you human. And if you listen closely enough, you might realize, every heartbeat is a reminder that life, in all its chaos and uncertainty, is still beautifully, stubbornly, miraculously, yours. Even now, as you sit here, your heart hasn't stopped once. Not for a second. Through every heartbreak, every disappointment, every night you thought you couldn't go on, it kept beating. Quietly, faithfully, without asking for recognition or applause. It never demanded attention. It just did its job, keeping you alive. Your heart is the most loyal companion you'll ever have. It's been with you since before you took your first breath, and it will be with you until your very last. It has carried your fears, your dreams, your joy, and your pain, and through it all, it has never given up on you. Think about that for a moment. Even when you give up on yourself, your heart doesn't. So tonight, when the world goes quiet and you can hear that steady thump inside your chest, remember what it means. That sound isn't just biology, it's a promise. A promise that life is still within you. That strength still flows through your veins. That hope hasn't left. Your heart beats even when you sleep. It fights for you when you're too tired to fight for yourself. It never stops. It never hesitates. It never quits. And maybe, just maybe, it knows more than we think. Because while science has shown us that your heart can beat outside your body, what if it could also think? What if your heart had a mind of its own, guiding you, feeling for you, remembering what your brain forgets? In the next episode, we'll explore something even more astonishing. Did you know your heart has a brain of its own? Stay curious, stay alive, and until then, listen closely, because your heart is still speaking.